It's your boy James, Grendel's Garage, and well, we finally got the F-Zero put together. Ended up doing it off camera. Over the weekend, my little son learned how to crawl, which is super amazing, but at the same time, I can't leave him out of my sight. So I built it in the living room. We had a blast. He was twisting the wheel and having a good time, and it was really fun. A lot of good memories. So already building some memories with the bike. So some things about the bike, I guess. Assembly was pretty straightforward overall. I did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. There were just some little caveats and stuff like that, which we'll get into a little bit later, probably as I'm walking around the bike and stuff like that. But overall, I think the experience was pretty good. I do think at the end of the day, there are some cheap ways that they go about some stuff in jazz. But at the same time, I also see what they're trying to accomplish. Make it affordable and all that jazz, especially for a kid that costs $500. You're basically buying an entire bicycle that accommodates a motor. So, yeah. Alrighty, guys, stay tuned. We're gonna go ahead and break it down and see how everything went together. Here we go. Alrighty, everyone, we're back just to get crack-a-lackin'. Personally, let's go ahead and start with the forks, the front forks. They're nice and beefy. They're really nice and big. They're a little bit better than the CDH ones that I had back in the past, the Stein or whatever you would call that. It's just beefier all around. They do seem pretty well made, all things considering. So I'm pretty happy with that overall. But the thing that I find kind of a downfall is the overall setup for the handlebars. You can't really install your own handlebars. You would have to get, I don't know, some kind of adapter to get some kind of different extension rod, just because they don't give you enough space right there to put any kind of handlebar holder, whether it be a BMX style or just your typical downhill bike. Also too, just to note, mine came, I forget the little piece. There's a little piece that's actually in the stem, not in this cylinder, but in the actual fork itself. And mine was off to the side a little bit, so I had to take a punch and kind of pound it down a little bit. And then once I put everything together, ended up kind of solving itself. And it's really smooth. It's really good in that regard, turning and everything like that. I will say you're going to see some new battle wounds and stuff like that. That's going to be on me. So the next thing I think is good and bad. One thing, these are kind of cheap. I think one of these is already popping off, so that's pretty fixable. A little bit of glue, good to go on that. Nothing big. They just feel really thin, if that makes sense. Very, very thin. What's kind of cool about them, though, is you can put them at whatever angle, flip them around, get whatever design you feel comfortable. So I think that was maybe the overall thought when they were putting these handlebars together, which is kind of cool. So I wanted to run the bike stock when I put this together for you guys, just to so you see what you get. We'll do some mods. I think I'll go ahead and go straight to the double brake. Speaking of the brake, the front brake, everything worked out really well. I am not familiar at all with, I'm gonna put you guys on the stand. I'm not familiar at all with disc brakes, so this was a little bit of a learning experience for me. There wasn't a ton to it really, but I got it to at least where it's not grinding anymore. So then when you engage it from the side, we get some stoppage. But overall, I will say, just by my hand and doing this, it feels solid. Like there's going to be some really good stopping power compared, I think, with all the other C style and V style brakes that I've seen and used. Really, I've never used disc brakes, so this is all new to me. I hope to get everything set up correctly, but that's going to go ahead and bring me into my next topic of subject. I took the wheels off completely, like the actual wheels from the rim, and they're fairly true. They're actually not too bad. The back axle on the rear might be a little bent, but we'll talk about that later. The front wheel is just really hard to turn overall, and I did make an attempt on both of the wheels to take them apart, the hub and everything, and I was going to re-grease and I was going to go crazy and all that jazz, but I could not get it apart. Straight up, they put some Gorilla Glue or something on there. Probably not. They just torqued it down super well to where I just don't have those tools to get to the next level without maybe breaking something. So I just opted to say, you know what? We're running it the way it came in that regard. Anyways, I digress. So the front's nice and preem. That's basically everything with the front. we'll just keep working our way down. Next, we'll talk about the tank. I feel pretty fortunate, very airtight. I screwed off the cap, turned that off completely, and I blew as hard as I can, and there's no air leaking from my understanding or feeling. What I did do wrong, though, guys, just totally goofed up on this one, was I did not clean the tank before I assembled the bike. So I'm going to have to get a couple friends over, and we're going to have to put some gas in there and give it the old 1-2, 1-2, and flip it around and drain it out. Or I might get some gas in there and compress some air and just try to blow it out. We'll see. Don't make that mistake. Clean it up before you do that, because there's going to be grime. The top of this cap is disgusting. In my opinion, you know what I mean? They're not like spit shining cleaning these. There's just a bunch of grime all up in there. So just be aware of that. Don't make that mistake that I did. Come on now. But I'm super excited. This is so sweet, guys. I'm not going to lie. I love the color. I wish there wasn't as many dings, especially on the other side. I'm showing you guys the preem side. Let's go ahead and move over next to the wheel system. Everything worked out pretty well. Just a heads up with the chain. It didn't come with the master system, or oh my gosh, I'm going to blank on some parts, guys, but basically the piece that has the two prongs that goes in the side so you can lock it. The master link, maybe it was called the master link, master chief link. So it's just like, it was like a really good close fit for me personally. It worked out well, but basically what it came with was the little pin on the side, on one side off, and I just had to punch it in, and I just did that with, just a punch tool and a piece of wood and a hammer. Really simple, and then obviously put it on and then install your back wheel. The only other thing I really had issues with this whole system was this pedal over here was just all goofed up, threaded. I had a heck of a time getting this pedal on, but it's on there now. It's not straight. It is crooked, but it is on there. This pedal, zero issues. It's really smooth though, in my opinion. With that freewheel, that would be kind of nice. I'm always used to a coaster brake, so that's going to be super nice. Next, seat. This thing looks sweet. I'm not gonna lie, super sweet looking, but completely non-functional. Either I'm super fat or something's going on. I weigh about 200 pounds, guys, and I put these things on there with this little setup the best I could, and it comes with a Phillips screwdriver, which was a horrible design flaw. I could probably go ahead and replace the bolt and put something else on, but just straight up, I got as tight as I possibly could. I went and sat on it, and these things went whoom, all the way down. You can see where I scratched the frame right there. Ugh, I'm not happy about that. So, to me, design flaw, seat looks cool. Seat's coming off. I'm going to have to order a new one, and I have zero issues with that because I wasn't going to run this long term anyways. Can't go for a bike ride today, though. I'd have zero seats. I could take one off a bike, but that's too much work. Moving back even further, I guess kind of the stuff where I learned a lot about all the jazz. This to me is like the most intimidating part of motorized bicycles in general, is the back, the rear. But I'm very happy that I took a leap of faith and finally went to this system. So as of right now, everything looks pretty good. Again, I have the disc set up to where I'm not rubbing or anything like that. So I believe I did this correctly. It's nice and tight. The wheel looks pretty symmetrical. To the most part, these rims are not perfect by any means. I didn't tweak them at all, but looking at the sprocket, I think we got it running pretty okay. I don't know if this disc is off, but the disc is wobbling, but the sprocket on the inside is not. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to say, guys. I did when I was taking the wheels apart and stuff like that, I completely took everything apart, the spacers and all that jazz, and I put Loctite in there, and I torqued it down with a drill. It's on there, guys. It is on there. So if it backs out, we'll have to go a different way, which I have heard that these are notorious for doing that. I think some guys tap these out, drill them out, tap them out, and put bigger bolts in. I'm not at that capability, as in I don't have the tools. One day, we'll get there. One day, this entire shop will be a fabrication shop, but until then, we're just going to be stuck in the matrix. The other thing I did have to do is I did put a spacer in there. I'll put a link to what I end up buying. I don't know the measurement. I'll try to get a measurement for you guys and throw that down around this time. I think that was crucial. I think you need to have a spacer in there, which I've never ran a spacer before. Everything else has been just plug and play, but I definitely have put a spacer in there. Food for thought. Another thing I might do too is I might get a washer. This just seems like really, really on the edge there, and just maybe a better surface too. I don't know, something down the line. I don't have the brakes hooked up yet, as you guys saw. What else? I do know some guys say they have clearance issues with the chain in the wheel, and yeah, it's going to be very close. We'll go ahead and cross that bridge when we have to. Maybe we'll get some offset mounts, maybe won't. They're kind of expensive, but they might be worth it. We could always flip the sprocket around going inwards, but I don't know. So many things, guys. Overall, I'm super happy with the purchase. I didn't forget about it, just some things changed in my life, and being in the garage, this is a little bit harder. That much harder, but it's worth it, you know? Little guy's crawling. What more can a dad ask for? Besides that, guys, we're going to whip it together, turn it into an actual bicycle. Once I get some brakes on it, we'll take it for a little pedal. Once I get a seat, then we'll put a motor in there one day. Alrighty, guys, stay tuned.